Hi YouTube, it's Catherine Michelle. Today we're kind of going to go over and do like one of those clarification videos. There seems to be some questions that some people are getting or comments that some people are seeing from others. I have a lot of these people blocked, so other people come to me and they're like, well, what does this mean? Who seem to misunderstand the whole concept of the fake documents. So to help those who are asking the questions, so you guys can really understand what's happening here, I'm going to put on the screen the email from the attorney, the affidavit from Dr. Detective Klokanos, and then the actual, then the fake document, and then the real ECU report. The misunderstanding is coming in where some people are confusing the fact that there is a real ECU report, and then someone took a header from that report and then blocked out the bottom and typed in a bunch of stuff. I mean, when you compare the two documents, you'll see how they're not the same. It's not the same wording. It's not even the same formula setup that all of their other documents follow, and you'll be able to see that. And what I mean by the actual real document, it has right justification, and the fake document does not. You never see in any of the real police reports where Detective Klokanos calls himself Shane. He's always very professional. This one is addressed to Tommy and signed Shane. And we know that by reading the police reports, these police officers don't behave in that way. It's never been consistent with any of the police reports or even emails. We have copies of their emails and communication they had back and forth with the BCA, and they never spoke to each other like this. So right away, it's evident that this is a fake document. And someone brought it to the attention of the Apple Valley Police Department. I'm not quite sure how. We only know that the city attorney states that someone brought it to their attention. Then they contacted the city attorney, because this is actually a huge felony. This is not an okay crime. Anybody who goes around faking, falsifying, creating police documents under the name and guise of a police officer, we have several felonies going on here. So I don't know what possessed the person who did this to do this. I'm not going to speculate who. Do I have a feeling who I think could be involved? Yeah, but I think so do you guys. But that's not my place to say, because I don't have anything solid and to say that, yes, for sure, I know they did this. But the point of this is to put to rest the misquoting of Sophia. Sophia states in the video with Greg, I think I was part of that too. Sorry, days are jumbling together. But she says, when the attorney and when Detective Klokanos states that he did not write this, he doesn't recognize this document, he couldn't find this document in any of the police records, they're not referring to the actual ECU report. And these are not one and the same, okay? Not at all. You have this fake one-page document supposedly from Detective Klokanos stating how they feel the bodies, who died when, and all this other stuff that's just pure bogus. It's all a lie. Some of it was taken out of an original document, another felony, and put into this fake document to make it kind of sort of sound legitimate. And that fake is a fake, but the actual document is the real document and is part of the police records that have been obtained. So they're not one and the same. They don't belong to the same. They are not even correlated or belong together at all. Someone had taken the header from the actual real ECU report, and like I said, then created this false document pretending to be in writing as if they are Detective Klokanos, addressing it to Tommy Booth. But yet the header, they didn't fix the header very well, because in the actual real header, which is exactly the same as the original document, but on the fake document they kept the header, but that header is addressed to both Tommy and I can't remember if it's Brian Bone. I can't remember, but there's two different police officers. But in this section where it's typed out, it's only addressed to one. So again, lots of mistakes on this part. And I really, really hope that the city attorney is taking this seriously. They say they're investigating this, and they should, because like I said, there are several felonies involved here that can range anywhere up to 3, 5, 10 years in prison plus fines, financial fines. And that's, you can look it up online, Google forging documents, and Google, I think that's what I found it under. But you look up under the Minnesota state statutes for falsifying and forgery. Look up document forgery, especially where and how it relates to legal documents from the police department, courts, or anything like that. It's serious. It's really serious. So whoever created this document, they're in a world of hurt. As soon as, as long as the Apple Valley City Attorney, continues this, and the Apple Valley Police Department does continue to investigate this, it won't be hard for them to pinpoint where it came from. That's the reality. We know where we got it from. It was in a data file dump from Tony Floyd, and he received it from the facts versus fiction Crowley thing. That's the group of people who constantly harass myself and Greg and then Dan Hennon when Dan was on YouTube. I mean, we're talking constant bombardment and harassment. And this is where this fake document came from, was from their group. That is truth. It's backed up by email exchange, text exchange. Now, they're still trying to say that they received this from the Apple Valley Police Department, and Apple Valley Police Department saying this is fake. We don't even know what this is. And when to go so far as to have Detective Clocono sign an affidavit, a legal document stating he did not write that not for public release ECU report, to me, that tells me they're taking this very seriously, because again, these are major felonies. This isn't something minor. But anyway, so Sophia was correct in saying that when and what she meant, and again, another thing that is constantly misconstrued by those who shall not be named. And again, these are people who are asking me, wanting clarification. But since there has been so many questions, I just decided to do a video so I can answer it all together. What she said was, when she's saying that she didn't, something about she didn't know. I'm not going to misquote this. I will be right back, and let me find that quote, what she said, okay? Be patient. Hold on. Okay. I had to go back and listen to the podcast that we did. Okay, so what Sophia is saying is that first, when she first saw this email pop up, she was out driving around and she was busy and she didn't quite understand what was going on. She's like, wait, what? What are they saying? So she was, so she went from trying to read the email from the attorney to looking at the affidavit. And she's like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to wait till later. And then when she got home and actually had time to sit down and read it and take in what was going on without other distractions around her, is when she realized that this was referring to the fake memo, what she calls a memo, but we know it's a fake document, that Tony Floyd had uploaded and, made public. And so then she started to put it together and she's like, oh. And I remember when, we were discussing this back and forth, and before we even knew Greg had even received the same email. We did not know that at this time Greg had received the same email. So Sophia and I were talking back and forth, and about the email, and she's like, oh my goodness, are they being serious? And I go, well, yeah. You don't get a letter from a city attorney if they're not serious, let alone an affidavit. And she's like, oh no, oh no, like, who would do this? And this was her first thought. Her first thought wasn't jumping to conclusions and starting to blame somebody. She's like, oh no, somebody's faking documents in the case. Has this happened before? So this type of conversation we're having, on and on and on. Again, just between the two of us. This isn't anything we're putting out. We're, just kind of brainstorming this whole email and realizing the fact that, there's been this leaked document. Now, Sophia and I, this is we kept it to ourselves. When it first came out, we did in passing talk about this. And then she's like, oh my goodness, look, this sounds exactly like what some other people were saying. And is this where they got it from? Did they get it from Detective Klokanos? Because that's kind of where she thought at first. It was a brief flash in her head that, maybe Detective Klokanos had given them this information and had provided us with false information, or not all the information. And then we're like, well, that really doesn't sound like him. So we're just like, you know what, let's just leave this and let's just let it ride. Because, that's why I never addressed it. I never brought it up, because it didn't look right. But it's one of those situations where I didn't have enough information. I saw something that was questionable, but was it real or was it not real? I had my suspicions, but nothing to back up either way. So we just stepped back and said, let it go. And it wasn't until the city attorney then sent that email to both Sophia and to Greg, and letting them both know that that document was not correct. And that's only that one-paged memo that says not for public release. That is the only fake document. The actual ECU report is a valid and right report. So when Detective Klokanos is stating in his affidavit that, he searched he's looking through the files, it's not there. He's looking through his notes, it's not there. He doesn't recognize that. Again, he's referring to the one page, not his actual report. And so hopefully that will help explain this a little bit better. And again, I'll put this up at the end of this video. I will put up the slide showing the email, and then Detective Klokanos's affidavit, and then the fake document, and then the actual real report. All of those will be, in there, and you will be able to see the difference. Again, this fake document was not part of a real document and then one page taken out of 5 or 6. There are 5 pages to the actual real report, and you will see them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have this fake one. And then nowhere is that part of this other real document. So again, I hope that clears it up. It's not the same, never was the same. Somebody created that document, and again, that is a felony. There's forgery going on here. There's impersonating an officer going on here. Yeah. Whoever did this, oh, I don't know. It's if they follow through on this, if the Apple Valley City attorney follows through on this, and they find you, and they will. I feel sorry for you. If nothing else, I really hope that this puts to rest the need to constantly create fake documents, fake email texts, fake everything. There's so many things that are put out by some people that are created on their own. They make stuff up. They have these elaborate, well, not so elaborate, but elaborate in the sense of where they go on and they carry it on and on and on. And you're like, wow, which is why we don't address this. Usually it's not worth our time, because we know it's a lie. They know it's a lie, but they present it as its truth. And those people who truly have been following the case, which a lot of you have, and you guys know, you guys are smart enough, and you guys see that, where it's fake and where the lies are coming in. And I really appreciate all of your support, both in comments and in private emails. I cannot express enough thank you to you guys for standing by not only us, because we're trying to do this the best we can. Oftentimes things can not be given a definite answer, but we kind of have to give it a best guess. Well, according to all what's being done here, said here, here's kind of where we think it's going. But, that's a far cry from going, creating an entire document and saying it's from a police officer and then presenting it to the public in any way, shape, or form. If you hand over that document to anybody, you've now made it public. And that person, then when they then release it, and what happened in this instance with Tony Floyd, guess what? That falls back on you. You created that document. You handed it over to Tony. Tony made it public because they knew it was fake. And now comes the legal repercussions. So please, if anything else, I really pray you guys have learned your lesson. Stop this. Just stop. It's okay. You don't have to agree with our stance. You truly don't. And there's no law that says you have to. And guess what? The world would be really boring if everybody agreed on everything. So let's keep this civil. Let's keep it polite, and no more dirty tricks. Sophia wasn't lying. She wasn't confused. It's not like, oh, she knew this, she didn't know that. No, when she first received the email, it was confusing. She was busy. There was things going on. She set it aside until she could get home and open it up. So when she's relating how she came across this document and how she processed it, there's no two sides to this. She's walking you through the steps it took her to realize that this was a real email from the actual city attorney, and holy Toledo cakes, someone faked a document that was not part of the original document. That is all she was saying. And again, for the umpteenth time, just to drill this home for those who I know will be listening, this is not part of the actual real police document by Detective Klokonos. Somebody took snippets from his actual document, inserted it into this fake, not for public release document, but that doesn't mean Detective Klokonos wrote it. He did not. He does not recognize that page. He knows his report. He does not know that report. So I hope hopefully that kind of clears it up and we can move forward from here. And if you guys have any more questions, you can email me, or you can find us on the Justice for David Crowley and Family Facebook page, or you can leave a comment down below. Hope you guys are having a great day and continue the fight. We'll keep fighting for justice. And thank you for joining us in that fight.